Nowadays, mental health tracking has become much more popular than it was previously. It's quite hard to say whether it's due to stressful time or due to the appearance of new research in psychiatry, but every year more and more people start thinking about their minds. As the representative of RedMonkeyTech, I decided to do a research about the actuality of creating mental health applications, including personal experience. Everything starts with a problem that a startup should solve, because if the startup doesn't solve any, it has no usage. So what problems such applications should solve? Let me draw the most common problems. Let's imagine a young man, older than a teenager but not middle-aged, Sam, who moved from his home to some other country. So everything seems pretty nice, any troubles with his job, everyday life, etc. But one day Sam felt bad, so he thought he was dying. He called an ambulance, but when they came, they didn't do almost anything, as they saw that there was nothing dangerous happening to Sam's health. They just told him that everything was okay and went away. In several days, the situation repeated, so Sam started to take medical tests, attend different doctors, and search for information on the internet. One day, one of the doctors told him that his body is healthy, so Sam should check his mental health. And that is the point where the recovery started. So, let's define problems that Sam faced in that situation. First, perhaps he wasn't even thinking about his mental health. Maybe he just found out about this term, so the first problem is the lack of mental health culture. We don't think about it until we learn about it from somewhere. The second, visiting a psychotherapist shouldn't be very often, and much information is forgotten after the session. So patients need a guide that would be helpful during their recovery. Also, keeping a diary is widely used during psychotherapy, and it's not very comfortable to always carry a notebook. Sometimes patients need advice right at the moment, and old-fashioned methods don't provide possibility. Finally, one of the points is recovery result maintenance. It's quite hard to keep habits when everything is fine. To sum up, we can write down a list of problems that have to be solved. First, the information distribution and consideration of mental health as a part of our organisms. Second, the patient guidance and result tracking. The third, the ability to make psychotherapy sessions online. The fourth, psychotherapist's access to results and notes at any time from any location. The ability to take immediate corrections. The fifth, the knowledge base and urgent help that are accessible at any time and location. And the last but not the least, result maintenance. The possibility to notice bad changes until the situation worsens. When we already have a list of problems that we need to solve, we should think about how the application should work. So first of all, if you are not a psychotherapist, you should find a co-founder with such knowledge to note first practices, techniques, and write the information to the knowledge base. Also, it's necessary to think about the application's workflow. If I were the founder of an application like this, I would rather start from the very first opening of the application and the information that we need to get from the user. When the user opens the application and he or she has no account, we should get name, birth date, location, image, and give a short test to find out the current problems and the main aim. I thought about two aims: the therapy itself and result maintenance. Let's describe how aim influences further workflow. If the user selects therapy as the main aim, he or she gets the list of doctors based on the test results. User chooses the doctor, there will be the ability to change the doctor, and gets to the home screen where the schedule, theory, reminders, and techniques are shown. These features should be set up by a doctor. Also, there should be a button that will lead us to a knowledge base where the user would be able to read and learn about his problem more. I think that with such features as schedule and diary, everything seems pretty clear, so let me write about reminders and techniques. The reminders section allows a doctor to set up different reminders for patients. For example, let's remind our patient to write something into a diary, or let's remind about the time when it's better for the patient to go to sleep. The reminders should work at the specific time, so the interactions between the user and calendar should be also implemented. So in this section, the user is able to find interactive or even gamified techniques that will help the patient to get rid of, for example, excessive anxiety. I'll describe only one case, but I think you'll get the point. If the user chooses a breathing technique, the countdown with hints appear. The user breathes in for a specific amount of seconds, holds and breathes out. The technique turns off when it's enough, for example after 7 iterations. After that, the patient is asked to write a short feedback about the results he or she got, so the doctor would be able to change the set of techniques for a specific patient. Also, once in a week or two, users will be tested again to track the results of the therapy. If the user picks result maintenance aim, the home page would be the same as therapy aim, but the user is allowed to set up the reminders and techniques on his or her own. The user would also be tested in a specific period, but this period should be longer than while therapy. Also, the user would get notifications with advice and recommendations. The feature of online chat, where the user is able to ask for advice or help, should be implemented in both aims. Finally, I think that such applications should have some integrations, for example, meditation or fitness programs. We've described the user's side, so let's describe another part of the application, the doctor's part. So, let's start from the registration. First of all, we need to be sure that the doctor is experienced enough and has an appropriate education. So we need to implement a feature that includes tests and screening calls. Once the doctor passes the registration, he or she gets their own cabinet with the schedule and patients that are attached. Also, a doctor has access to patients' diaries, reminders, and techniques set, so he or she is able to make corrections. Doctor is working only with users that have chosen the therapy aim. Finally, doctors have dashboards where they can know about their success rate. Let's check whether the application potentially solves the problems. The informational distribution and consideration of mental health as a part of our organisms, yes. The patient guidance and result tracking, yes. The ability to make psychotherapy sessions online, yes. Psychotherapist access to results and notes at any point of time from any location, the ability to make immediate corrections, yes. The knowledge base and urgent help that are accessible at any time and location, yes. Result maintenance, the possibility to notice bad changes until the situation worsens, yes. Every startup, like every business, has to earn some money to keep progressing. So here are some methods of monetizations. First, subscriptions, and second, paid therapy sessions. As for me, I think that subscription-based monetization is far better, as it costs less for users and gives founders the opportunity to expand when needed. We came close to the question about technologies that have to be used to build such mental health applications. In my opinion, the best technology stack is .NET for backend, React Native for mobile applications, Microsoft SQL Server for databases, and React.js for frontend. This choice of technologies grants scalability, stability, velocity, portability, and security. It may be a little more expensive than using MERN or Mean stack, but the amount of advantages overlap this disadvantage completely. What's next? Once we are ready with everything above, we need to find the appropriate development team And I'd like to recommend a RedMonkeyTech as development team for the project, as they have a strong experience in building projects of any scale and difficulty, and also they are able to maintain the project as much as needed. Thank you for your time and hope you liked the article.